Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. What a day. Yesterday was Liberation Day. And today, well, it's a good question. Have you looked at the market this morning? Collapsing. And if you take a look at what is going on around the world, the reaction of our allies, unbelievable. And I want to contrast two emails that I received this morning. One is a great supporter of Donald Trump and believes this is the best thing that ever happened. And the other by someone who is a critic, who describes all of this as draconian. So let me address these two longtime friends and avid listeners to KGO. First, to Rob from Richmond, who you all remember, who is stoutly defending the Trump policies. He believes with perfect faith that what Trump is doing will restore America's economic strength. And he maintains that those of us who are opposed to Donald Trump simply do it, in a sense, and let me use my own words here, Rob, on reflex. Quite the contrary. I listen with great care to what Donald Trump says. And I listened yesterday in the Rose Garden, what he had to say. The thing that amused me was his inaccurate portrayal of America's views of tariffs, including Smoot-Hawley back in 1930. It was fascinating to watch revisionist history at work. And of course, the reflex action of all of his key aides, predictable. On the other hand, I received an email from another old friend, someone I've worked with over the years, and that's Bruce, who I know also listens to this podcast. Bruce describes what Donald Trump is doing as draconian, dangerous, and a danger to American democracy. These two perspectives from two avid listeners to me for many years on KGO and two individuals who I respect, and let me be clear, I respect them both, show the polar extremes in this debate over what Donald Trump is doing. My own observation was that yesterday was another campaign rally in the Rose Garden. Before the destruction of the Rose Garden, as you all know, Donald Trump is planning major shakeup in the Rose Garden. He's talking about concrete display. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But the simple truth is, whatever anybody says, whether it's Rob in Richmond or whether it's Bruce in San Francisco, the simple truth is, take a look at how the markets are reacting. Listen to what foreign leaders are saying. Listen to the belief that the economic structure, which has been the Western structure since the end of the Second World War, is now over. Look at the fear that is gripping the markets. And let's see what the prices will be here in our own communities. There is no doubt that the price of coffee is going up. So when you stop at Starbucks or Pete's, you're going to have to take a hard look at how much this is costing you every single day. And as we consider the cost of products, let us consider the cost of automobiles, and not just whether automobiles are made in the United States. Let's think about what it costs to get the parts for the automobiles, many of which are produced overseas. How long will it take for America to be able to produce the very parts that are needed in order for our cars to run? And let's take a look at all the products we import. And let me give you an example. Bananas. I love bananas. I have a banana every morning with my cereal. And I can tell you that the price of bananas going up. If basic products that we need are going up, what are we going to do? We aren't going to be able to grow bananas in the United States. And as for coffee, I don't think this is going to be a major coffee producing country and take a look at our allies and what they are saying and what they are feeling. They are upset because they believed that the economic order, as established in the post-World War II era, would continue. And what are we witnessing? One person, the President of the United States, disrupting the economic flow. Yes, if there is a recession, I believe it will be called the Donald Trump recession. And if tariffs continue to be the great political question of the hour, there'll be the Trump tariffs. There'll be nobody else to blame. Now, to his credit, I believe that Donald Trump is happy about that. Over the years, he has believed in tariffs. He's expressed this before he ran for president. He's expressed it when he was running for president. And now he's implementing what he said he would do as president. And so the simple fact is, everyone is in turmoil. There is uncertainty. And there is a belief that not only are we headed for recession, but we could be headed for a depression. Now, I don't know what the balance will be, but I do know, as I indicated to you the other day, that a lot of my friends are pulling back. They're selling stock, they're packing in cash, they're buying gold and silver. Their belief that this unsteady moment is going to continue and that we may all suffer. Of course, the real test, aside from the grocery store, may be people's 401ks. Now, I want you to stop and think for a minute how many Americans are counting on their 401ks when it comes to retirement. If our 401ks go down, if we lose what we have saved, if we lose what we have invested, there will be only one cause, and that cause will be Donald J. Trump. And that leads me to why Republicans in the Senate have now passed a bill which opposes tariffs on Canada. And it only took a few Republican senators to override what Donald Trump wanted to do in coalition with the Democrats. But stop and think for a minute. When it hits the House, will House Republicans stand with the president? And by the way, that's not the end of it. The president can veto, and there are not the votes in the House or Senate to override a presidential veto. I point this out because, in a sense, we are in a stalemate. And now, the true test. We are going to see, day after day, the reaction of the American people, the reaction of the world, the reaction of the stock market, the reaction of stock markets across Europe and Asia. Oh, and wait, did you note, and I think it's really important, that there are two countries which tariff will have no effect on: Russia and North Korea. You know, I stop and I think and I scratch my head and I wonder what that means and what it will mean for the world economy. So today, and it's still early morning here in San Francisco, we wait and we will see. At the end of the day, where will the market be? Will the administration make any adjustments or changes? All of these questions hang in the balance. And the future of our economy, for the first time in 80 years, we are questioning the question of our ability to work with the world and build a strong economic structure, not just for the United States, but for the world as a whole. Has everybody forgotten that when the Great Depression hit, it affected not just America, it affected the world. It contributed to the rise of Hitler. It continued to impress us day after day with the impact of our world dependency. I am not an isolationist. I do not believe in America first. What I believe is we need a stable world. And without a stable world, I believe we face serious problems. So Let's wait today. Let's sit. Let's consider. Let's watch and listen. And we will see who is right and who is wrong. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which is, of course, our goal. And you can interact with me, as so many of you do, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and with email. I love it. I appreciate it. And frankly, so do my listeners. And now, to the most important thank you of all, Gogo Zoger, who every day ensures that Around the Political World with John Rothman is up and running. Gogo, thank you so much. And to all of you, we'll see where the world is tomorrow. In fact, we'll see where the world is in just a few hours, but I'll be reporting on it tomorrow morning, right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.